Okay. We're just sitting here smiling in case we're live, but we're not.
We're not.
All right, let's take two.
Yes,
Here
we are live now.
we are. Do you see us?
Welcome everybody to Coffee with Colleen and Kate. This is the Tuesday morning edition where Colleen and I get to play around with controls and get to tell you what we think we know. And Colleen's come up with a great topic for this session. And the topic, Colleen, is
Today we're going to talk about how to write great website product descriptions. So, Kate, do you have some thoughts on this to get us started?
writing website descriptions is important for a couple of reasons. Colleen will address more deeply the SEO implications, the search engine implications of what you're putting on your website, in your videos, in your descriptions of your videos, and so on. I'd like to talk a little bit more about the power of words. I'm really gung-ho about ways to say. There are ways to say things that will motivate people, will please people, will make them remember you, and there are ways to say that are just kind of eh. So that's what I think we need to pay a little bit of attention to today. But more importantly, I think, to the search engine optimization is the actual words you use. I had an interesting happening the other day. I was watching TV, and of course one of those Wayfair.com commercials comes on, and I decided I'd look it up on my phone, and I typed in Way, F-A-R-E, the homonym, the incorrect homonym for Wayfair, which is F-A-I-R.com. Just without thinking, I used the wrong word. It popped right up. And that's an interesting thing to remember. If you ever have a few bucks to spare, you might want to get a web address that is the most commonly misspelled version of your name. And the same thing goes with SEO. If you're going to spell Gucci right or wrong, if you're going to spell Louis Vuitton right or wrong, that might be an interesting SEO question, Colleen, to tell us a little bit more about, since she's the expert in that.
So honestly, Kate, that used to be an issue, and people used to do exactly what you're saying. But now Google has smartened up, and if you mistype Gucci, or even if you would have mistyped Wayfair, it would pop up and say, "Did you mean Gucci, Gucci?" And that's exactly what happened with our company, Brand Garden, because years ago we had Brand Garden, and another gentleman had Brand Garten with a T. And now what's happened is everybody was searching for Brand Garden, and our company comes up because in it, even if you misspell it, it will come up and say, "Did you mean Brand Garden?" And that gentleman didn't like it. Even though he's German and he was spelling it, in the German spelling of Brandgarten with a T. So nowadays, actually, the spelling isn't as crucial, but it still is a good point. I mean, you can definitely still do that if you want to, but but Google does automatically like grammar correct, spell correct, and say, "Did you mean, Stella McCartney instead of Stella McCarthy," or whatever, Louis Vuitton instead of Louis Vuitton. And just a few shout outs. We have Dawn Gonzalez watching this morning. Dawn just took an amazing trip to Egypt. So I don't know if you're watching from Egypt or you're back home, but welcome. And Michelle Renda's watching, and we've got a few other watchers as well. So good morning, everybody. So what I want to touch on, Kate, along those lines are today's shoppers are really specific in how they're searching for their products. As an example, when you run a Google ad for furniture or a Google ad for women's clothing, you're not going to get as good of search results as if you run an ad for handbags or sofas or dining room tables. So you have to think about specifics when you're writing your product descriptions. And it's really important to use these keywords because that's how people are searching. So I like to say, think of searchability, because you're writing for how people are searching, and you're writing for how Google is going to be able to help people find you. And if you think about your own search as well when you're searching something, and the other thing that's important to remember is that now we have voice search. You know, people are saying, "Hey Google, find a leather sofa. Hey Siri, find a Louis Vuitton Neverfull handbag. You know, hey Alexa, find me a Tory Burch, pink crossbody." So you have all of this voice that's coming on now, and people are being very, very concise. Online shoppers are generally in a hurry. They don't like to read long descriptions, and they're usually searching on their phones. And so they're just going to type in the basics or speak in the basics. So these are what I feel are the basics, and definitely, Kate, you can jump in. But header, in your header line, when you're typing up your description and adding your products, you want to do your brand name, always your brand name. You want to do the color, you want to do the style, you want to do the type of thing that it is, and the size. So as an example, you would say Henri Dan brown leather Chesterfield sofa. Or you would type in Kate Spade red, orange, yellow crossbody vinyl handbag. If it's waterproof, include that it's waterproof. If it's multicolored, make sure that you say it's multicolored, because people will be searching for a multicolored bag, or a orange if they're looking for a certain color, an orange bag or a purple bag or whatever they're looking for. If the item you're describing has different colors, try to pick the top two colors. Either call it multicolor or pick the dominant colors. But trying to be a little bit more specific and particular, because this is how people are searching. So do you have some comments on that from your own experience, or?
That's great. I think that people do go online looking for something specific. Fortunately, we are looking for a better sell-through rate, so that we're not just trying to sell that leather Chesterfield. We're also trying to get them to come on our site to see that we also have leather ottomans, whatever it is. So there's a balance between trying to sell that one item and trying to sell the whole concept of stay on my site, look at my stuff, come into my store, look at my stuff. There's a fine balance there, and because we are resellers and because we generally only have one of an item, we don't want to spend a whole heck of a lot of time on an item that's not going to net us a whole lot of money. The Chesterfield, maybe $1,899, so that might be worth spending some time on. But spending it on a Kate Spade crossbody, even if you make $30 on it, may not be exactly what you're looking for. So it's a balance between, do I want to sell this particular item, or do I want to sell the concept of bookmarking my site, of checking me out every week, of signing up for my emails, of all the things that you want a potential customer to do. I see an awful lot of shops putting on an awful lot of very inexpensive items, and to me, the time invested in that may not be worth it unless you are using that item as a representative, an ambassador, if you like, to your business. And that's where I come in with the idea of descriptions need to be a little bit more motivating, a little bit more lifestyle oriented. And I certainly agree, Colleen, with the idea that your titles, your headlines, your main text, excuse me, needs to have all that important stuff. I mean, you're looking for Kate Spade or you're not looking for Kate Spade. You're looking for a Chesterfield sofa or you're not looking for a Chesterfield sofa. But if you've got room, and it depends, of course, on your software and on the program you use to get your merchandise on the web for people to see, if you have room, I urge you to add that description. Colleen says people are in a hurry. That's true, but they're also susceptible to reading another 30 or 40 words if they're already there. So that's what I would urge people to do. If it's something that's worth putting on the web, it's worth writing something motivating, nostalgic, whatever about it.
So, Kate, I'm really glad that you brought that up. It's the perfect segue into my pro hack. So, what you're saying has a lot of merit to it. And usually that you'll notice when you're adding an item to your website that there's typically two boxes for a description. There's your top box, and then there's usually like a bottom box. If there's not a bottom box, then all you do is you space down about 2 or 3 spaces. But what you're going to do is you are going to create a couple of different little paragraphs that are written up that you copy and paste. So you're going to write these paragraphs up, write them up for different categories in your store, and then you save them. Like I save mine on my notebook, my notepad, which is on my desktop. It lives on my desktop. And I have it saved there. So I have a go-to when I'm adding products onto my website. I have a go-to that I can go and grab and copy and paste. And as an example, this is where you're going to get really keyword heavy. So, for example, for handbags, you could have copy and pasted in a general description that reads, "Better Than Before is a resale store that sells consignment and new authentic designer handbags and purses. We are not a thrift store, we are a consignment store and hand select each item for quality and current fashion style." Now, why do we say specifically we are not a thrift store? You want to say specifically you're not a thrift store because, believe it or not, thrift is one of the top searched keywords all over the country. Like in so many different markets, people search thrift over consignment, but you don't want to be like categorized as a thrift store. So you get a little bit more creative in how you say that. So you can specifically say we're not a thrift store, which gives you the SEO for using the word thrift, and you can talk about consignment store. So now we have used the word consignment 2 or 3 different times. We've used the word handbags a couple times. We've used the word resale. We've used the word purses. So you're getting all of your different important SEO words in there. And then the same thing for like sofas. Too Good to Be True is a resale store that sells consignment and new sofas and couches in styles such as modern, mid-century, French country, whatever. So you're getting all of those keyword searches in here, and that's where you're taking and getting more of your deliciousness in your descriptions. But you want to copy and paste it because, like Kate said, you don't have time. You're selling one-of items. You don't have time for big flowery descriptions. If you have a really unique item and you really want to feature it or talk more about it, like someone brought it in and it has its providence. Is that the right word? The providence of an item? If it has its providence and here's the history of it, great. Talk about it, but put it a little bit down further. But then copy and paste this other section and put it on every description of every item. So the SEO that you will get from doing that is like off the charts. Hi, Jody. Jody says so many great points. Great. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. If anyone watching has any questions, let us know. Anyway, what else, Kate?
Boilerplate descriptions are great, and you'll notice that Colleen did a couple of things. She put the name of her shop in there. She did the not thrift, so that she gets the SEO from thrift. She got resale, she got consignment, she got styles that have nothing to do with the Chesterfield sofa, because if somebody types in, mid-century sofa, they're going to get your results, and you want those results to, even if they're incorrect, you want them to pop up so that people see you. And when they go there and they start looking at the Chesterfield sofa, they'll see that you have a choice in your on your website of looking up whatever mid-century sofas they have. Having that boilerplate paragraph there so that you can cut and paste it is such a time saver. And again, you're getting your name out. Also, don't forget, if you can, with your programs, be sure to label and use a description in the picture itself. Because even though people may not read that description or that title of the picture, Google will. So again, you want to put in the name of the picture, you don't want it to say DSC1256.jpg. You want it to say something like leather Chesterfield, that kind of thing. So you've got some more SEO in that direction. Those are very, very fine points that you probably, again, don't want to bother doing unless it's something that really, really makes your shop outstanding. I think maybe next week I would love to talk again, Colleen, about sell-through rates, about the time invested. I'm afraid that an awful lot of people are actually wasting time doing things online that would be better spent perhaps in the store. So is there some way that we can quantify the time spent versus the sell-through rate versus the dollars that being online brings you? I know, of course, that there's this immeasurable aspect of being online, having a live video every day, having a catalog of your items, putting them on Facebook and Instagram and Shopify and all of that. I know there's an immeasurable benefit to that, but I also feel like an awful lot of people are spending an awful lot of time doing something that is not bringing the dollars into their pocket. Is that a good topic, do you think, folks?
Yeah, it's a great topic. It is a difficult one to quantify because we have this thing called omni-channel marketing, which you've probably heard me talk about now for the past several years. And all of these things actually bring people into the store. So it is like, oh, hey, Jennifer, Kate and I were watching your live video a little bit this morning before ours started. So hello. And we love Jennifer does an amazing job, and Jennifer uses this super cool software. And when she's online showing an item, the item name of the item, the brand, and I think the size, I'm not sure, but the brand shows up on her video. It's super cool. So we super love that feature. But anyway, yes, I think it's a great topic to talk about because I think that you can waste a lot of time, but on the same token, it's a fine line because it's a fine line between like what's just marketing and continuing to get out there and what's like a waste of time. It's a fine line. So it'll be an interesting one for me to noodle over this week while I think about all of that. But yes, next week let's tackle that topic, Kate. I love it.
That's a pretty big topic. We might go over 15 minutes on that one.
We might go over 15 minutes, and that's okay. You know what? Maybe we'll end up spreading it out in more topics. But anyway, any final thoughts for today, Kate?
Well, I've had my coffee. Have you had your coffee? We're coffee with Colleen and Kate. There we are.
Go, everyone, go and be fabulous. And you have that fabulous little saying that your mom always said, or
Go
you
out
said.
there and sell something.
Cheers. Have a great week,
Cheers.
everyone.